Two teams more than ready to get this one started. And off we go from Soldier Field. And he'll take it up past the 25 to the 26-yard line. So here come the Falcons now to get the football for the first time. And they'll be led out by their third-year quarterback.
And you'd think as a young QB there'd be some nerves leading an offense out to start a game, but haven't seen any sign of them right now. And speaking with him earlier this week, sensed that the pressure wouldn't get to him. He feels comfortable being the face of this offense and shouldering the expectations on game day, even if he doesn't quite have the years of experience other quarterbacks do.
It's a play fake. Now Vic. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
You get a sense of what this game plan might be. They think they can take a few home run shots against this defense. They tried it there on the opening drive, but that falls incomplete.
Vic with the incompletion on first down, and now that leads to 2nd and 10. They'll look to throw here.
And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to 3rd down.
But when you're going up against a talented receiver like that, you just know that they're going to bring more people to him, right? They're going to double cover him every chance they get.
And I think that is what we're going to see all game long. An early taste of that double, maybe even sometimes triple coverage we might see.
Yeah, I think what they're counting on, his talent to sometimes beat that double coverage.
Dancing to his left. Big yardage there on the scramble. It gets him a first down.
He's a talented runner, and that means he's always looking for bigger and bigger gains when he takes off. Certainly found some bonus yards there beyond the first down marker, and this early drive will continue with that extra jolt from his legs.
So into Bear territory now. This is 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. From the shotgun, it's Vic. And the ball is knocked out, and this is picked up by the Bears. And his guys are going to take over at the 31-yard line. And without a doubt, not the way they pictured that opening drive unfolding.
No, they were making progress. They weren't exactly in high gear, but they were making a few yards along the way. And now that they've coughed it up, you got to go back to the sidelines and regroup a little bit.
So here are the Bears now for their opening drive. And a glance here at their quarterback standing 6'3".
Every time he leads his team out, there's no questioning he's put the work in to earn his place in the NFL. There's no shortage of stories we've heard throughout his career about the effort he puts in to be in this spot. And that motivates everybody on his team.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Following the fumble recovery, it's Cutler. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And getting this just shy of midfield, they'll spot it at the 49. The catch and run, good for 18 and a first down.
And what a nice example there of a tight end doing exactly what he needs to do. How about how he worked his way to the outside, made sure he secured the catch, and then anything after that, we count that as a bonus. And indeed, he gets enough for the first down.
And now a throw on first down there, but it's incomplete. So after the incompletion on first, now 2nd and 10.
He's going to use his legs here.
And this is going to be back-to-back tackles for a loss here, as the Falcons defense yet again drops him behind the line.
Well, that play never really got off the launching pad. He had a linebacker in his face before he had a chance to do much of anything.
Yeah, I think it's big boys up front, that offensive line. They've got to do a little bit better job of protecting him if they're going to continue to run the option like this.
Now some movement before the snap. And we'll hear from our referee for the first time this afternoon. And maybe they were coming with a blitz that time and it caused a jump.
I think if we saw it, You know that they saw it. Might have been a little discussion down there. Bad guys coming. Pick them up. Pick them up. And someone jumped.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw.
Oh, and that is incomplete.
Well, they certainly came out firing in this one, and while that one was incomplete, I can't imagine that'll be the last shot that they take in this game.
Here comes the Bears punter now, as he's on to punt for the first time this afternoon. And that'll hit at the 5 and go into the end zone for a touchback. So for the second time in this one, we get set to see the Falcons offense. And they got across the 50 last time, but fumbled and turned it over, so they'll be looking to have a short-term memory here, Mr. Davis.
Not only a short-term memory, but a whole lot better ball security. Because if they take care of the ball, continue to move it, their chances of scoring some points, they've got to feel pretty good about. They thought they had things moving in the right direction last time. Fumbles, they don't just affect you on offense, they affect your overall team, because now your defense has to make that stand up.
Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11.
That's a play to take note of there for the defense, I think, in the future. If you're going to try and block him, maybe you get a guard to help double team him and try and steer him out of the play. They should have done it on that snap.
On 2nd down, Riggs. And this one also slow in developing as he's maybe getting back here to the line of scrimmage, but not much more than that.
When you try to create space for your running back, the first thought is how physical is the offensive line. Sometimes it's just positioning. On that play, it didn't matter about positioning or being physical. The defensive front, they out-leveraged them and won the battle.
On 3rd down, Vick. He's got his target. That's complete. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A first down and then some. Give him 29 yards. He's such a good route runner. Shows it there on 3rd down. Very proficient and a good pass.
And you know what I've observed over the years in the NFL? The better a route runner you are, the more confidence your guy's going to have in you to go to you in important times, because he can trust you being in the right spot, and they connected there and picked up a first down.
On 1st and 10, here's Vick. And that is incomplete. He couldn't hold on through the contact. Brings up 2nd down.
That's what you're going to need to do against those big receivers. You got to get in there and get physical with them. That time he got in close, got in tight, and knocked the ball away.
Vick with the incompletion on 1st down, and now that leads to 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw. It's complete to his big target, Crumpler. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made here at the Bears 30. A good pickup there, a 22.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
Vick goes play action. He's got a man. It's his tight end. That's complete. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a first down.
Zone coverage here defensively. They're going to let their tight end run a drag across the field. This is where a linebacker gets forced to pass him off. That time, the receiver gets lost a little bit, and he's able to make the catch and pick up good yardage and a first down.
On 1st down, Riggs. Just a yard on the pickup there, and it'll bring up a 2nd and 9.
A 1-yard gain can look like a disaster, but it all depends on how the game is going. Is it a series of 1-yard gains running the ball? If that's the case, you might have to start thinking about throwing it a little bit more. But if it's just the occasional 1-yard run, hey, congratulations to the defense. They won that one. Come back and get them the next time.
Now flags come flying in. One of the Falcons moved early.
So they'll go ahead and accept the penalty.
And that false start penalty certainly not helping their cause here. 2nd down and long. Working out of the gun, Michael Vick.
And that one off the mark behind him, incomplete.
So he's 3 for 7 throwing the football right now. Not an awful start, but also not the sharpest of starts.
No, I would agree with that. But if you're a confident quarterback and to play that position, you have to be.
You just act like there's something wrong with the wind currents or something wrong with the ball. It is not you. Keep throwing. That timing usually develops.
3rd and long for Vic. And he is caught. And they will eventually get him down, but he's inside the 5 all the way to the 3. They're able to convert on 3rd down, and that sets up a 1st and goal.
That's a sharp throw right there on 3rd down. They're looking to get the first points of the game, and they certainly don't want to be on a field goal. So that's a nice job to get the hook up and set up a 1st and goal.
1st and goal from the 3.
They'll try to run this one in. And the D not yielding much there. He's only going to get a yard to about the 2.
Good work there, holding him out on 1st down. And this is going to be a battle down here on the goal line. Can they hold their ground for 2, maybe even 3 more plays?
From the 2 now, 2nd and goal.
Freeman. Touchdown, Falcons. So, partner, it was a passing game that drove them down the field, but when they get close, they trust that man in the backfield, and he took them home.
And they trust their offensive line as well, because so many of these units, they specialize in either pass protection or run blocking. This group shows its versatility and gets both done on this drive.
A try here for the extra point. It's good, and that gives the Falcons a 7-0 lead. A pretty long drive that time. 11 plays all told. And it's culminated by a 2-yard touchdown run. Now after the touchdown, it's Bosher to kick it away.
And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line.
Chicago works their way back onto the field here for their 2nd drive of the game.
Defense got the better of them last series, forcing a punt. See if they make a few changes in the game plan here and try to get points out of this drive. 1st and 10.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Well, that's just a pile of bodies there, and that's when you kind of find out who's a tough guy, right? Who can stand up and make a play. It was only a 3-yard run, but for both sides, they had to walk away from that feeling like, okay, I can stand up when the going gets tough in here.
On 2nd down, Cutler. He'll drop this off to Peyton. And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. So they'll get nothing out of that play. 3rd and 7 now. They couldn't get anything going there out on the right side in the flat of the swing pass.
And didn't we have a discussion with their staff about wanting to get the backs more involved in the passing game? Huge emphasis for this game, but obviously the defense had other plans and really made a nice play.
On 3rd down, Cutler. A bullet throw, but incomplete.
2 drives won't tell the story of this game, but you absolutely have to like how this defense has played thus far. They have yet to allow this offense to get untracked in this one.
Here comes the Bears punter now, as he'll punt it away for the 2nd time. Yeah, Sanders now to return. So a change of possession here on the punt. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. Here comes the Atlanta offense now ready to take over here. They've got a 7-0 lead in the football as well as they start out 1st and 10. Vic now. It's a short one here, complete to his tight end. Only able to gain a couple there, and it's second down.
There's a completion to the tight end, and I think that we're looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely. He's got size, the hands.
Speed. I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
Vic to throw it.
That's to the sideline and incomplete.
I think that's how this defense is going to need to play these tight ends. Again, get right up on them and stay physical. And that paid off on that play, helping force that incompletion.
So the failure to connect on second down, that leaves him staring up here at a 3rd and 8. Now here's Vic.
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And he is going to have a Falcons first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
And defensively, they were in zone coverage there. Do you have to be a little careful? You're losing playing against a good quarterback like he is to not play too much zone?
Yeah, you have to be careful about how much time you're giving up. I think it's a good point you just brought up. So maybe if you still want to play zone, you go to a zone blitz scheme. And you can drop anyone out of your defensive front. Defensive end, defensive tackle. It doesn't matter. You just exchange someone to bring more pressure towards the quarterback and still try and cover downfield.
No gain on the play. It'll be second down.
The running lanes have definitely not been there for him here in the first half, and I don't think it's all been his fault. His offensive line hasn't given him much space. A loss results there.
Officially nothing on that last run. They'll try again, 2nd and 10. Play action now. Vic steps away. And he can't get rid of it. He's taken down. It'll go as a loss of about 6, and now it brings up 3rd.
And this is a quarterback who's already had success on the ground in this first half, but this time they're able to hem him in.
And it's always different when you rush a mobile quarterback as opposed to a guy you know will be right back in the pocket. In this case, you got to make sure the inside pressure and the outside pressure match. And maybe even a second wave to make sure if he squirts free, you've got someone to tackle him.
Now, meanwhile, the throw by Vic incomplete. It was knocked away.
When I watched that play, I thought about what my coaches had told me in the past. The biggest teaching point, get your head around. Locate the football so you can make a play on it while it's in the air. That's exactly what he did there. That was nice.
On 4th down, the punt team is on as this is sent away. And that one hits at the 7, but bounds into the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. The Chicago offense set to get started. Still in the first half, but this offense has struggled. Haven't really been able to get anything going, not only in the points category, but in the yards category. We'll see if they can do better here on this drive. Now Cutler on 1st down. Throwing the out route incomplete. It's Marshall. And he's brought down at the 24 after a gain of 4.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice game.
Second catch for him today, and it'll wind up a 1st down. If you're going to blitz, likely going to leave you in man coverage with this guy, and that is less than ideal.
It is, because just about any offense that has an elite receiver, if you blitz and have him in man coverage, you're going to him, even if he has an elite defender on him, because he usually knows where the ball is before the defender does.
And they bring him to the ground just shy of midfield. 12 more yards there and another 1st down.
And after that completion, you can understand why so many teams in the league are emphasizing speed on defense at every position. The tight ends have created so many tough matchups now. If you can't run with a tight end as a linebacker, this is going to be the result every time.
Cutler now off the bootleg. And a quick throw here, that's complete. And that's good for a gain of 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Here now, 2nd and 4.
They go play action with Cutler. It's a short one here, complete to the tight end. Back-to-back receptions for him, and it's another first down.
And the tight end is certainly a position built to move the chains because they can control space underneath. If they've got good hands, then, of course, they're a dynamic target. But one other thing is they're right in the sight lines of a quarterback on just about every play, and that makes it easier for the quarterback to pick him out and deliver.
Again, it's Cutler. And that incompletion breaks a string of 5 straight connections. And it's 2nd down.
And not a common sight, at least on this drive. A momentary setback, though, for this passing game that has been moving well this series. Good thing for them, though. Still 2 more downs to connect and try and pick up another first down.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Now a handoff up the middle. Peyton, and tough sledding. He'll get maybe a yard. Stop short of the 35.
Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or 2 because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
After 1, 7-0 on EA Sports. Back in Chicago, ready for the 2nd quarter. It's the Bears in possession as they've got it with a 3rd down coming up. They'll come to the line here needing 9 yards to pick up the first. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete.
And that's going to be good for another first down as the tackle's made at the Falcons' 22-yard line. A 3rd down conversion with a strong gain of 14.
Seems as if the passing attack's starting to heat up a little bit here in the 2nd quarter.
You can sense and you can see the momentum because now they're reading their patterns downfield, they're understanding the coverages, and they're finding the open holes in the defense.
On 1st and 10, it's Cutler. So the completion good for 6 yards, and that's going to bring up 2nd down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target, and he's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did. That solid gainer will put them on the doorstep of the end zone. More importantly, it gives them a fresh set of downs. Nice work right there.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. Now it's Cutler. Caught right side is Jeffrey. That's good for a gain of 6, 2nd and goal.
Peyton will take it in. Touchdown, Bears.
A solid blocking up front from the guys on the offensive line allowed him to get in for the touchdown.
Yeah, some might say that the guys on the offensive line were in concert. I used to have a coach who called it marrying up, meaning when you get on a guy, you just stay right there. Each guy has his own assignment that allowed the runner to make the big move towards the end zone.
Robbie Gould on for the extra point. It's up and good, and we're tied at 7 here in quarter number 2. So that drive, 12 plays in length, and it results in a 4-yard touchdown run.
So all even at 7 now as they kick it away. Taking it about the 1. And his guys will get the football right at the 20-yard line. The Falcons offense set to go. Over on the sideline, hoping to hit that reset button between possessions. Last time out, they had to punt it away. This time, hoping to finish this thing off in the end zone. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. 2 yards the loss, 2nd and 12.
I like the strategy. Extra tight ends, extra beef. They want to run the football, but that means they probably want to run it inside. If you get strung out on the perimeter, you're in peril.
Yeah, we saw the result, negative yardage. So the opening play of the drive goes backwards. Now they'll come up on 2nd and 12. Up the middle they go. Riggs. He'll be dropped at the 25 after a gain of 6.
On a 2nd and long, it's really nice to see an offense that has enough confidence to run the football in that situation. I think that goes back to their practice and game planning. They've seen things that they've seen on tape and in previous games that led them to believe that even in a long-distance situation, they can still run the football and gain enough yardage to put themselves in a good spot on 3rd down.
On 3rd down, Vick out of the gun. Pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack. And that'll bring up 4th down on a big sack with a loss of 5. Tell you what, he did not have much time there to scan the field before he was ducking and covering.
Did it appear to you, as it did to me, that the defensive front won their play really quickly? Meaning the guys in front of them had almost no chance to block them. They were on him in a hurry.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. So possession goes over here on the punt. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. A long drive last time out for this offense, Charles. If you remember, they started basically in the shadows of their own end zone, marched it down the field, and a lot of that was through the passing game.
And, partner, as a former defensive back, I'm having almost a physical reaction watching what's happening right now. But let's give credit where it's due, because they've done an excellent job moving the ball through the air. Secondary getting picked apart pass by pass. Obviously, they need to make some adjustments there on the back end.
And because offensively, we know that they're not going to be shy about throwing that football. But that's Grady Jarrett, who forced his way through to register the sack. But found his way into the backfield, and he simply would not be denied.
Well, they say that life's all about opportunities, and that holds true when you're playing defense as well. How about him seeing that chance, making the most of it, did a great job of wrapping him up and bringing him down.
Now Cutler to throw on 2nd down. And he's got his big tight end here. They'll wind up getting 10 back as that sets him up for 3rd down.
Let's just break this down and make it pretty simple. Key to the drag route, letting the play develop, finding the hole in the defense, and giving your athlete, yes, athlete, a chance to make something happen once he has the ball in his hands.
Throwing here, Cutler. And this pass broken up. And the contact well timed there, and now 4th down.
Good clean play, no flags coming out of the pocket of the officials. Turns into an incompletion, and that should get him off the field with a 3 and out.
Here comes the Bears punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Taking it about the 16. An 8-yard return there after a punt of 47. And it will be Falcon football. Atlanta now coming out on the field. The crowd may be losing just a little bit of the edge after back-to-back punts.
They want some big plays. They want to see some offense. They want to see somebody break away, whether it's through the air or on the ground. Now it'll be interesting to see where the patience is on both sides. Each head coach, can you hang in there and not try and force something that could put your team in some jeopardy?
And not much to speak of. Call it a 1-yard gain up to the 26.
Oh, there's plenty of traffic waiting for him up the middle. But give him credit, he tried barreling through anyway. They're fortunate to get a yard out of that one.
The last play got just a yard. Here's 2nd and 9 from the 26. Here's Vick. He goes underneath to Freeman. And he'll get nothing out of that one. So nothing doing there. And that's going to set up a tough 3rd and 9.
That's a nice job defensively to make sure everyone was accounted for, because ordinarily you pick up the guys downfield and sometimes you forget about the running back. In this case, they did not and dropped him for no gain.
Vick readies to throw. And he can't find a receiver, and he's brought down. And that'll bring up 4th down on the big sack with a loss of 5.
He was really focused downfield, but there was really no viable options. The coverage was too good.
And the defense really quickened the tempo of that play with their pass rush, because there was nowhere for him to go with the football. The only place he ended up, down on the ground.
And a fair catch taken back near about the 35, 36-yard line. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return. And out will come the offense as they take over. The Bears in good field position to start out 1st and 10 at their own 37. They'll put Jeffrey here in motion left. They'll start out here with a jet sweep. And he's dropped right at the 40. Gain of 3.
A nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked on it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
Cutler will throw. He's got the hook up once again to Jeffrey. The result, only 4 yards there on the play. And now 2 yards to go on 3rd down. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. On 3rd down, Peyton. And he's got the first down yardage there as he takes it just across midfield. An effective 7-yard 3rd down conversion.
I don't know about you, but that almost felt like old-time football there. 3rd and 2 is not necessarily just a running down anymore. A lot of times they want to throw the ball. They went back to the roots and powered forward and got the first down.
They run again with Peyton. And they'll get him down after a pickup of 8, 2nd and 2.
Good yardage there on 1st down, exactly what you want. Get yourself set up to keep making 1st downs, keep the clock running. And if they're smart, you're starting to milk the clock. No hurry before you run your 2nd down play.
2 yards to go, 2nd down. They'll keep it on the ground. Peyton, and the stop here will come at the 38-yard line. They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a 1st down.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a 1st down. Keep the sticks moving.
Throwing now, Cutler on 1st down. And that is incomplete. Now the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down.
That's a tough spot for a running back coming out of the backfield, because you know he's got to look for the football, knowing full well he's got a man coming his way, full steam, and he broke that one up.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. To throw, Cutler. Jeffrey reels it in over the middle. He's brought down at the 34. Call it a gain of 4.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go, because he might wander into some tough coverage.
The Bears on 3rd down, 2 for 5 to this point. This will be 3rd and 6.
Here's Cutler to throw. They set up the screen to Peyton. He's into space past the 25. And he takes this just a few yards shy of the red zone before going out. It's a pickup of 10 and a Bears first down.
They ran that one well, and not only did they pick up a nice chunk of yardage on the screen, they sent a message to the defense. Rush the passer all you want, but you better be careful. We can hit you going back the other direction.
Throwing again, it's Cutler. Got a man, and he hits him in stride. That was the 9th play of the drive, and they pick up 9 yards with it.
Second down and a little more than a yard here.
Now a give, right side. Peyton. And he'll get him inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line. Able to get the 1 yard he needed, but nothing more.
Sometimes I get almost mesmerized watching these runners who have great vision. You know, those eyes that carry their feet to open spaces, make people miss. I just love watching those guys go to work.
Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line.
And we've got movement. I think this is against the Bears here. Let's find out.
And they'll accept that penalty.
The false start backs him up 5, 1st and 15. Now it's Cutler. This is caught.
And the Bears are going to have a 1st and goal coming up as the tackle made at the 3-yard line.
I can't help but chuckle a little bit because at this point, it can't be a surprise to anyone in the building who's going to get the ball. They just keep feeding him over and over, and he just keeps on delivering.
Now Cutler. To the end zone, but it's incomplete.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing from this defense because their coverage has been playing at a shutdown level so far. Even backed up late, they're forcing incompletions and fighting to keep them out of the end zone as the first half winds down.
They'll go again from the 3 here on 2nd and goal. Off the play fake. Here's Cutler. And he just chucked that one out of bounds, out of everyone's reach. Maybe a wise call not to take a sack in this part of the field. It brings up 3rd down.
All right, Captain. It's batten down the hatches time defensively. Dodged 2 pass attempts to the end zone. Now what do you think they're going to try and dial up on 3rd and goal?
Well, knowing them and knowing what we just seen, I think they're throwing it again, don't you?
I think you have to. I think in this situation, you've kind of run out of your running plays. Fire another one into the end zone.
On 3rd and goal, Cutler. To the goal line, but it's incomplete. The 3rd down battle won by Atlanta's defense. Solid coverage.
So it's been a long drive. They've held the ball for quite a while. Now what do you do here?
Well, to me, at this stage after this drive, this close to the goal line, 3 points would be a letdown. I'm going for it here.
And the now 40-year-old veteran able to put this one through.
So a long drive gets them down inside the 5, but ultimately they settle for just the field goal.
And I have to think that if maybe they were a yard closer, that would have made their decision tougher, and I think they likely would have gone for it. But in this situation, they just decided to take the 3, and I think it was a smart move.
The kickoff team on the field now as they will send this one away.
And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. For the Falcons now going to go on offense late in this first half. And with a little under a minute to go, they may try and work their way into field goal range and try to tie up this ball game.
first down. Vick. Jones has it. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts, as the clock's going to stop with 47 seconds to go in half number 1.
Second and 6.
Off the play fake, Vick on the move to his left. It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's third down.
Kudos for the defense from me on that one, because they were prepared the whole way for him to try to escape and hit them for more yardage running it. I like the way they stayed zeroed in on him and kept him contained when he pulled the ball down. I think he was fortunate to get what he did on that run.
To throw, Vick. Throw caught there by Crumpler. And with just 1 second remaining in the first half, they'll call the timeout. This will be the final play of the half. Vick. And his throw is incomplete. So we've hit halftime. Just a field goal separating these two teams at the break. As we'll head down to Orlando, that's where we find our man Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach.
Okay, Brandon, back to you guys in just a moment. But welcome everyone to our Creative Village studios in the EA Sports Halftime Report.
All right, Coach, thanks. Yeah, both teams likely to make some changes in what's been a closely fought battle to this point. A good, tight football game thus far. 10-7 the score as we resume action on EA Sports. And able to get this across the 20, but not much further as he's dropped it to 23-yard line. The Bears offense set to go to begin the third quarter. Hey, Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
Will go down as a gain of 6, and that will bring up second down.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
Man, I just love being in this stadium. So much history, tradition, so many great teams and games, and we're seeing a pretty good one right now, hotly contested in the third quarter.
Meanwhile, the throw here is complete, and he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. 2 catches in the first half. Now he's got a third here, and it's good for a first.
A little football 101 there. You just see the receiver trying to run down the defender, meaning he goes right at him and really trying to move him a little bit towards the center of the field so he can put his foot in the ground and break to the out, to the sideline, and make a catch.
In motion left is Jeffrey. And he'll get it here on the touch pass. Oh, and that is well read defensively. A great job of setting the edge, and that little touch pass is going to turn into a loss. This defense not fooled one bit on that touch pass.
And this has become one of those kind of in vogue plays, you know, kind of like the shuffle pass was a few years ago. This one never got off the ground, but you understand why a lot of teams are running it. These wide receivers, a lot of them, they run like running backs with the ball in their hands.
And he'll take this for about 4 up to the 46-yard line.
Well, so far, this game has gone the way the defensive coordinator had hoped. They've dictated things. They've not let them run the ball very well at all. They gave up a nice game there. I doubt it'll back off their confidence. They've played so well throughout this entire game.
On third down, Cutler. Throwing quickly there, but it's incomplete. So it would appear they will not be able to add to their lead on this opening drive of the second half.
Yeah, if another touchdown was scored there, now we're talking about a 2-score game, and they're probably on their way of creating an excellent gap between them and their pursuers. But how about the defense there, able to step up and keep themselves in this one?
And he gets it away, a directional kick going toward the sideline. No returning this one. It sails out of bounds, and they'll spot it right at the 20. Here comes the Falcons offense. It's their first possession of the second half now. Now this game, it has obviously been all about the defense on both sides of the football. Which offense is going to break through here? We'll see if they can do it on this drive. A first down throw coming for Vic. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be second down.
The defense did its job of taking away a quick throw, but that's only half the battle because they've got to get to him before he can make a run for it. A little bit late containing him there, so he makes a nice gain out of a play that looked like it was in trouble.
On second down now, Riggs, and he's able to get out to the 32, brought down there. Another 6-yard carry, same as last play. First down.
Running lanes were at a premium in the first half, but he's able to find some room there, and he's hoping that that's a precursor of a big second half.
From the 32 now, here's first and 10. They'll keep it on the ground. Riggs, and there just continues to be nowhere to run. He's bottled up again at the line of scrimmage. Officially no gain on the play, and it's second down. Vic to throw it. It's complete to his big target, Crumpler. It's good. The completion there for 7 yards, and it's 3rd and 4 now.
One of the advantages of zone defense, as I remember it, is being able to see the play develop in front of you. One of the disadvantages, when they find those levels where they can hit you with it, sometimes behind the corner and in front of the safety, it makes it tough to defend.
Now here's Vic. And that is incomplete.
We're into the second half now, and this is an offense that continues to struggle to sustain a drive.
Looks like they're just totally out of sync, whether they're running the ball, passing the ball like we saw there. I don't know. The rhythm seems off. The Falcons send out their punter. He's been terrific so far. Averaging over 50 yards a punt so far as this one's away. On the return, Hester. They'll net only 35 here following a 43-yard boot, 8-yard return, and the Bears take over. Here's the Chicago offense coming back out onto the field. We have not seen much on offense here from either side these last few drives. We've hit a wall, so to speak.
And have hit it hard, haven't we? Because the defenses right now, they seem to be a step ahead, don't they? Beating them to the point of attack, beating them to the punch. These offensive guys, they're tinkering like crazy. What's it going to take to get back on track?
Yeah, both sides searching for adjustments. Now a throw right side taken in here to start this drive. And they work this well upfield across the 45. A well-executed 22-yard gain.
As they began this drive, I was wondering how they were going to attack since they're playing with the lead. Would they continue to try and push the ball downfield? Well, after one play, it appears that the answer is yes.
A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10. Now Cutler. Now he'll dump it underneath to his running back, complete. Now a 2nd and 6. Now Cutler looking to throw. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes. It'll go in the books as a 7-yard loss on the sack. And it's 3rd down. And they weren't in zone coverage. They were in man. And each man did his job.
And that looked like vintage, old-school coverage, didn't it? Man coverage reminded me of an old Raiders team. They had a Hall of Famer at one corner and a Defensive Player of the Year at the other, and they just locked people down.
And to the 49-yard line, but no further, and obviously he is well short of the first. That one good for only 6, and it leaves him with a 4th down.
And that's a play that's not uncommon on 3rd and long because the offense is just hoping that somehow they can get a guy in space and follow some blockers downfield. Does a pretty nice job there getting a few yards, but he ends up getting stopped before he can get the 1st down.
And he'll get off a fairly short kick here as this is toward the sideline. So out come the Falcons now. Their defense has done the job. Now it's the offense's turn as they've got it 1st and 10. Vic now. Throw left side complete. That's Freeman. And he's going to get this all the way down inside the 35. A big pickup of 38.
And the offense is saying to itself right now, only they were all this easy because he was wide open. And once he made the catch, plenty of room to work his way downfield. That was a breakdown on the defensive side of the ball, one that they want to fix immediately.
So the big play changes the complexion of things. Here's 1st and 10 just outside the 30. Throwing, Vic. And his throw's going to be incomplete.
Had an open man that time and ended up putting a little too much heat on it, don't you think, partner?
Absolutely. Just needed a touch more air under it. Instead, he fired an absolute bullet. Vic with the incompletion on 1st down, and now that leads to 2nd and 10. Now a handoff up the middle. Riggs. And he'll get this down to about the 30, 31-yard line. They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
I have to think a major focus at the halftime meetings had to be figuring out how to create space for the running game to get operating.
Well, what you pointed out to me at half seems accurate. That line has struggled to sustain blocks.
Yeah, I would agree with that totally. They've got to focus on staying on their double teams at the 1st level, make sure that block's secure before they slide off and try to chip somebody at the 2nd level.
That throw by Vic incomplete.
Right now, the story of this game continuing to be the defenses because the offenses, they're finding it difficult to establish any rhythm whatsoever.
I like how you come to us in praise of defense, Brandon, because that's exactly right. That was an incompletion forced there, but we've seen it throughout this game. Both of these defensive coordinators, they're a step ahead of their offensive counterparts.
So he splits the uprights and has to be a nice feeling. Right when it left his foot, knew it was good.
Yeah, just like a good three-point shooter in basketball, right? Release the ball, fall back on defense without even looking. You know it's going in the hoop.
All level now at 10 apiece as the kick's away. And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. The Chicago offense set to get started. Now Cutler on first down. And this is incomplete. Not sure what happened out there, but it looked like the timing was a little off on that throw.
Well, you know I'm a defender, so what am I going to say?
Great defense.
Darn right. They did something to disrupt that timing.
From the 21, it's 2nd and 10. Now it's Cutler. Pressure brought in, and the Falcons get there for the sack. It'll go as a loss of about 6, and now it brings up 3rd.
That's his 2nd sack of the game, and the best defensive ends, they do their homework as much as offensive guys do. They know how to beat the offensive lineman across from them, what moves they need to do to set them up. This guy's been pretty good at it all game long.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. And he knocks the ball away, and it falls incomplete.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a 4th down. Well done.
Here comes the Bears punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Fair catch taken just inside the 40-yard line. Atlanta regains possession of the football. They've got good starting field position as they come up here 1st and 10 at the 39-yard line. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he tries to power forward, but he will not get back to the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11.
Well, we saw a lot of negative plays that resulted in plenty of lost yardage in the first half, and that trend is continuing here.
A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. Vick, option right. And a good swarm to the football defensively as they get him down at about the 40. He'll get 2 on the keeper, but it becomes now a 3rd down.
And if you like defensive football, focus on the defensive end on this play. He does everything exactly right. Reads the play and makes sure he spills it for a small gain.
On 3rd down, Vick. And that is incomplete.
How about this defense? They came up with a couple big plays in this sequence, and none better than the one right there, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
The Falcons send out their punter as he's on for the 5th time here today. He's averaging just under 50 yards a punt as he gets this away. And he couldn't get it to check up. That kicks all the way into the end zone for a touchback. And now Chicago getting ready to go as they take the field. And right now these guys, they're shuffling a little bit, maybe doubting, because 3 straight drives have ended with him punting the football away.
Yeah, so you start pointing fingers at each other a little bit, asking a lot of questions. What are you seeing? What are you getting? Maybe trying to narrow down your playbook a little bit and maybe get simpler rather than more complex in order to try and fashion together a drive.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up 2nd down.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground, but I think the play gets made by the defensive front, because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
Throwing here, Cutler.
Got his man complete over the middle. That's Marshall. And down he goes, but he takes it up to the 40. 18 yards on that one, and Chicago has the first.
He's one of the bigger receivers in the game, CD, and his size that time certainly helped against double coverage.
Yeah, you're still at a little bit of a disadvantage when you're going against multiple defenders, when they're trying to double you and sometimes triple you. But you're exactly right. With his build, he could minimize that disadvantage, and he more than held his own and hauled that one in right there.
He'll get this up to about the 44.
Oftentimes we praise an offense for their variety of being able to hit people with the run in the pass, but in this game, how about what we're seeing from the safeties? They are all over the field. Doesn't matter if they threw it or if they're trying to run it.
I don't think we've ever awarded an MVU, most valuable unit, but you're right, it might go to them in this game.
I like that, MVU. Well done.
Now they show jet sweep, but instead a run up the middle here.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a third down.
And they have just not been able to block him at all throughout this game. Seems like every other play, he's doing something in the backfield. Already got 2 sacks, and now here's a tackle behind the line.
Out of the gun, it's Cutler. It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Okay, let's decide here. He was open, right? Not extraordinarily open, but open enough that if you're an NFL quarterback,
yeah,
you got to make that throw, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be completed.
9 times out of 10, that's a completed pass.
Yeah, he missed that one and missed it in a big way.
Here comes the Bears punter now, as he'll come on to kick this one away. Now Sanders. A pretty good punt, but a nice 13-yard return. And the Falcons will be taking over 1st and 10. Now the Falcons offense gets ready to head back onto the field.
Charles, a very uninspired effort the last time we saw them out there. It was a quick 3 and out, and then they punted the football.
Yeah, and you never want to get stopped so soundly during a series, but what would be even worse now is letting it happen again right here. They've got to get going.
They'll start this drive out on the ground.
And he'll get this up just shy of the 30.
He continues to struggle to find a crease to break off a big one and might need to just put that aside and just try and ram his way forward and get what he can.
Got it here at the 29 on 2nd and 8.
On play action, Vick. It's just a gain of a couple there on the scramble, and now it's 3rd down.
So many times we talk about having good eye discipline when you're playing defense, making sure your eyes are in the proper place on a given play. Looks like that discipline came to the front there, didn't it? They were able to hold him for a short gain when he took off running.
So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Back now at Soldier Field. And this offense on 3rd down today, they've converted 5 times in their many chances thus far. This will be 3rd and 6. From the gun, Vick. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down.
That's how multiple defenders getting pressure, and it's a loss of 6.
You know, on these types of plays, we're always looking to assess blame. Okay, where did it break down? Sometimes it's just a great play.
The Falcons send out their punter as they're forced to kick for the 6th time today. And a fair catch signaled for and taken just outside the 20-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt.
And they will take over 1st and 10.
Here's Cutler to throw.
And that nearly their first pick of the game, but it falls down to the ground incomplete.
Yes, sir. How about an attaboy there on first down? Got his hand in and knocked it away.
Once again, they'll go from the 23-yard line on 2nd and 10. To throw, Cutler. Quick hitter here, it's complete. And this will go as a gain of 7 as he gets it to the 30-yard line. Third and 3. Now it's Cutler. Hard throw, incomplete.
But plain and simple, that's the second time today that he's dropped a pass.
And that one, I think, maybe even a little easier than the earlier one that he dropped. Surprising.
Was this game announced as a night game prior to, and maybe his rhythm is just off?
He's
got thrown off. He's going to have to wake up, enjoy the sunshine, and go play.
So they're forced to punt on 4th as this one's away. And no return on this one as the fair catch is signaled for and taken. So possession goes over here on the punt.
And it will be Falcon football.
Vick will look to throw on first down. Throwing left side, it's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they reach the 50. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup.
And partner, in a tie game in the fourth quarter, you and I both know in the NFL, that's when you lean on your stars, and he came through with a nice catch right there.
Vick now from the 50. And he's going to have to eat this one as down he goes. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down.
I thought there at the end he may have had a chance to release that, but that pocket closed a little too quickly and down he went.
Yeah, he was certainly trying to do everything he could to extend the life of the play, probably counting in his head 1, 2, and then he ran out of time.
And give him about 5 as he gets this up to the 48-yard line.
It's not a huge breakaway run, but if your starting running back finishes the game with averages of 5 or 6 yards per touch, you'll take that every single time.
What do they have for this? 3rd and 11.
Here's Vick. And this is going to be incomplete.
A lot of times it's that first read that you have. Maybe you get it in pre-snap. He locked in on his target, but he was covered quite well, and that one's incomplete.
The Falcons send out their punter as he's on to kick it away. Yeah, he was looking for the checkup bounce, didn't get it. That scoots all the way into the end zone now for a touchback. And now the Bears coming out as they get ready.
Excellent job by their defense to force the punt and provide them with this opportunity, all tied in the fourth quarter.
On 1st and 10, it's Cutler. And he will find his big tight end over the middle. And he's taken down, but able to slip across the 35. This drive starting off on the right foot, 18 yards.
Certainly no settling into the drive there. They came right out on the first play and attacked the middle of the field for a big gainer and a first down.
From all the way up at the 38 now after a good start to the drive. They'll try the left side. Peyton. To about the 40-yard line. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
This a 2nd and 8.
They'll keep it on the ground.
Peyton. A strong running there as he's across midfield and down to the 49. 54 yards rushing forward. The ball game now on 14 carries.
Yeah, they really needed to get something going, didn't they? They had punted on the last 2 possessions. The running game starting to come to the front for them, providing a nice pickup there to keep this drive going.
And we've got movement. I think this is against the Bears here. Let's find out.
The false start backs him up 5. 1st and 15.
Now Cutler. And the Falcons get there. The Falcons get the sack. Down he goes. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd.
Hindsight is 20/20, partner. Maybe they should have kept it on the ground again.
Well, it almost looked like the O-line was run blocking again. I mean, they opened up a big hole last time. This time they opened up a hole, and the quarterback got sacked.
On 2nd down, here's the option.
And he's going to bull his way forward to the 48. He's able to call his own number for 8 that time, but it leaves him with a 3rd down.
Well, that's what he can do when he keeps the football. It's not a huge gain, but it shows how hard it can be to stop him.
Yeah, and I thought the defense had that one pretty well contained, and in fact, they probably came up and felt pretty good about what they did. Then they looked up and realized he still got good yardage out of it. He's a tough guy to stop.
Now throwing on 3rd down there, but he cannot connect. Here comes the Bears punter now, as he's on here to punt it away. And the kick's away as he angles this one for the sideline. And they won't risk defending a return here. That one's out of bounds, and it'll be spotted at the 14-yard line. Here comes the Falcon offense now as they get set to take over here.
Now, if you're a fan of punting, and I know that not many people are, but this game kind of turning into one for you.
Well, it's okay if it's a skills contest, right? We're really into it then, but not during the course of an actual game. This has turned into a field position game, though. Sometimes the better punter may actually determine the outcome.
On 1st and 10, here's Vic.
Now, a quick throw there, but it's going to be incomplete.
We've seen these defenses make enough opportunistic plays to keep this one low scoring. Flying around, making plays on the ball, and we see yet another errant throw as a result.
Vic with the incompletion on 1st down, and now that leads to 2nd and 10. He'll look to throw.
And that falls to the ground, incomplete. A nice job of bodying him up defensively, and now it brings up 3rd down.
This has certainly been a physical game so far. Limited scoring opportunities for both sides, and there's another chance that goes unfulfilled.
Now they face a 3rd and 10 after back-to-back incompletions. Vic readies to throw. Forced out to his left. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line. Good coverage downfield led to him taking off, picking up the 1st down on a 13-yard run.
From here on, any score could be the winning one, and he is certainly aware of that. Look at the way he locked in on that marker and made a mad scramble to get to it for the 1st down.
First down, Vic. Man open, here is Jones. And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49. 23 yards on the play.
Right there, he rose to the occasion late in a close game.
It's something he thought about, dreamed about, and worked on throughout his career. Because in these types of situations, he wasn't going to allow extra coverage to keep him from getting the football.
Well, he cannot get away. Down goes Vic. The sack recorded. It's a loss of 5, and now it's second down.
Well, collectively as a defense, Charles, I think if you get 4 sacks a game, you're feeling really good. Now they have 6 as a unit.
And that type of a number, it's just staggering because there's so many ways to try and counteract it. But in this case, they've got no answers for this unrelenting pressure coming at their quarterback.
The throw over the middle, taken in. And he's going to have another first down as the tackle's made here at the Bears 30. A good pickup there, 26 yards. So into Bear territory now. This is 1st and 10 at the 30-yard line. Vic to throw it. Over the middle, and it's incomplete.
They had their backs up against the wall a little bit, and they come through by forcing an incompletion. Now they've got to continue to ratchet up the intensity a couple of more times and get off the field before giving up any more yardage.
Vic with the incompletion on first down, and now that leads to 2nd and 10. Now back to throw. He completes it to Jones. That'll leave him with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? And I'm like, any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
Now, meanwhile, the throw by Vic incomplete. It was knocked away. When they need to play on 3rd down, you kind of know what direction the ball is going, but the defense knew it too.
Yeah, it's a good call because they wanted to put 2 men on him, and they did. Dare him to throw into double coverage. Really what you're saying is, let's see if one of your other receivers can beat us.
And his kick is good. And they will take the lead at 13-10. So in the end, they had the ball for 10 plays, but the drive gets them 3, not 6.
Is it okay if I give credit to both sides on this one?
Absolutely.
All right, let's start defensively. They hung in there. 10-play drive, but they stiffened when they got close to the goal line, made them kick a field goal. And for the offense, 10-play drive. They might be a little disappointed they got a field goal, but they moved the ball down the field with dispatch and came away with points.
Atlanta's 11 ready to go, and they kick it away.
Hester to return from his end zone.
And he returns this to the 22. Onto the field now come the Bears.
The last series for him, a little disappointing, forced to punt. And now they'll try to do better here and come away with some points as they begin this drive. 1st and 10. They couldn't ask for much more to this point in the second half. A gorgeous day, 1-score game. 1st and 10 here.
The drive begins with a run by Forte.
And a short pickup to about the 27. It'll be 2nd down.
End result of that one, a nice 4-yard gain. So you can use that to set up your play-action game, or you can come right back and continue to run the football because as an offensive play caller, you're on schedule and feeling pretty good about your next couple of calls.
Now Cutler. And that's complete to Jeffrey. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That'll give him 60 yards receiving now as he's got a 1st down.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
There's a ball thrown right side and complete. And he goes down, but not before getting this inside the 25.
It's a gain of 35.
Well, this is where an offense needs to show what it's made of, and in fact, where a quarterback needs to show what he's made of, trying to engineer a fourth quarter comeback, and he hits a big one right there.
So the big play gets him all the way down to the outskirts of the red zone here for 1st and 10. Now Cutler. And he's got his man out of the backfield. That's complete. A gain of 8 there on the play. And that'll bring up a 2nd down in just a couple. Coming up to the line, and they will need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning. Cutler to throw again. He's going to find his running back. It's complete. And the Bears are going to be set up with a 1st and goal coming up as they get him down at the 6-yard line. Now 1st and goal. Now it's Cutler. And he can't get a throw off. He's taken down. What a huge play at this point in the game. The sack sets him back a full 10 yards there on 1st and goal. It has been a rough afternoon for him trying to get rid of the football. See, that's now 5 sacks.
How'd you like to be the offensive coordinator, the offensive line coach, trying to come up with an answer for this pass rush? What blocking assignments do you change? Can guys play a little bit better? And we're seeing the end result on the scoreboard. Long day in the pocket for their quarterback.
Cutler to throw. And that throw behind his man. He missed him. Incomplete. Couple extra defensive backs out there in the dime, and because of that, really not many places to throw the football, if any.
And typically, what would you want to do against that dime?
Run the football.
You want to run the ball, but you can't do it in this situation. Not nearly enough time on the clock. You're having to really navigate against a tough defense presented against you.
Throwing now is Cutler. Looking end zone, but it's incomplete.
Partner, they've got one chance left to keep this one going, and I think for you and me, let's think along with their offensive coordinator now. Has to think back, cycle through every play of this contest, and remember what's worked and what hasn't. Because right here, he needs the best play of the game in order to keep this one alive.
The kick by Gold is good, and that will tie this game here in the final minute of play. So a big kick to get this back to even. Yet now the worry is, did you leave too much time on the clock? Because another field goal the other way, that does you in.
You're exactly right. You didn't get into overtime yet. So now as a defense, you've got to think to yourself, you can't play prevent defense and just give up big chunks of yardage in front of you. But you also can't let anyone behind you. So you sit right on the line between the two, play the best defense you can, and not make it easy for them to move the ball downfield.
This one, all we could have asked for. All tied, final minute as the kick's away here. This fielded right at the goal line. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Well, the Falcons back out, getting set for this next drive. Well, partner, here it is. They've got the chance to win the game. You'd have to think they need to get it near the opposite 40 to have a chance to kick a game-winning field goal. We'll see what they can do.
And you're right about that, because if we look at it in macro, that's what it looks like. But I think in micro, the head coach has already asked his special teams coach, what is he feeling? What does he think? Where does he want the football? What's the yard line we have to get? And he's already relayed that to his quarterback and his offense. They know what the goal is. Now the key, can they get there?
Throw caught there by Crumpler. And they work this well upfield across the 45.
Well, they picked up a little bit of yardage there, and now, in this situation, should be in no hurry to run a play really fast. Let the clock wind down.
All 3 timeouts still at their disposal. Here's 1st and 10 now. Here's Vic. Jones has it. He's into space past the 25.
And he'll finally be taken down at the 18. Now the Falcons going to use one of their timeouts as he'll stop it with 11 seconds remaining in the ball game. So now one of the biggest kicks of the night is forthcoming. This to almost certainly win the football game. Now the Bears going to call the first of their timeouts. That'll leave them with 2 remaining. We'll be back after this. So the field goal unit is on the field as this is a big spot right here. This to take the lead here in the final minute. And his kick is good. And it's celebration time on that sideline as they have taken the lead in the final seconds. So they tried to ice him there, but it's fair to say it did not have the intended effect.
And I've known kickers that take it as an affront. And there he says, you think you're going to rattle me? Think again.
Set now to kick this one away, and off it goes.
And they will wrangle him down a couple yards shy of the 30.
One last shot for Cutler.
Throwing left sideline there, but it's incomplete. A fun, close ball game comes to an end. On that last play, Charles, they were on the wrong side of midfield. They needed something near a miracle, and they couldn't get it done.
Yeah, the effort, that was good. Very good, in fact. They were just a little too far out to get a decent look at the end zone for that last opportunity. Couldn't get it done, but a nice game overall.
That'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our hardworking crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, find us on Twitter at EA Madden NFL. With that, we say so long from Soldier Field.